What's up, Brian Lloyd? I can't really see your comment, but I saw your name up there. Give me just a second. Trying to tape my second tripod back together real quick so I can put my phone on. It just says, "Hey, good to see you." No room. Man, there's a video right here. I gotta watch it so it gets into my history. You're wide awake. Just seen the new knife a few minutes ago. Yeah, thank you. I saw your comment. I got it right here. Let's put this where I can see it. This one's mine. So yeah, there it is. I might show it when I get a few more the normal people in here. So I feel like everyone missed the video where I finished it. It was kind of late, and I was just cutting some tape with it. But yeah, it's should be still nice and sharp. It's got tape residue on it. Let's see here. So yeah, this is jigged bone. It's cow bone, dyed cow bone. It comes with the jig. So this is what they look like when you get them. I'm not sure. This is probably green. I think I won't know until I start sanding it. It's definitely brown or green or. But yeah, that's what they look like when I get them. And then this one was red, obviously. And then it's got the brass liners. And the nickel silver bolsters with these two pins hold the spring, and then this one doesn't go all the way through because the knife wouldn't close. This one just helps hold the bone on. There's one on each side. And it works good. It stays open pretty good. It's nice and springy. So I'm actually going to work on another slip joint here in a minute, but first I want to do I'm not sure how long it took. So I started on it about a week ago. I actually came out to start on this one. And while I was working on this one, when I went to go find this little board here I use, I found this one with the blade and the spring about like this, about in this condition. And I must have started it a year or two ago and I finished it. So that's where this one came from. And this one I just started about a week ago. It took a lot of time. At least, I don't know. I worked on it for hours and hours and hours, a couple days in a row. Probably 20 hours at least. I know I didn't actually keep track though, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, so this one here, this is the one I was working on a little bit ago before I started on the folder. I'm done with it. I just got to put this little strap on here and it'll be done. What's up, Kyle? Thanks for coming in. Hope everyone's having a good night, I guess it is. What's up, Jerry? So that's all. That's all for this one. Some of y'all might remember this one. I was doing this one a while back on the lives. I finished it a while ago and then I had to make a strap and I kind of took forever making the strap and finally got it done. So it's like a Warncliffe style blade. It's nice and sharp. Take some little curly keys off there. So this one will go inside. I'll wipe it down and take some pictures. It'll go on my Etsy. Kyle, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. What's up, Navy vet? Alright. So this is the one I'm going to work on now. Let's see, get the camera here a little better where I can see what y'all are seeing. So what I got to do is, I got this position here set, the open position. And when you fold this around, you get to the half stop right there, the spring needs to come down and sit flush with what will be the liners. They're not here, but it needs to sit flush with the liners, just like it's gonna in that position. So that means the distance from this center pin to where the springlet rides has to be exactly the same from here to there as it is from here to this edge. And then it also needs to sit exactly flush when it's closed. So, and I can tell you when it's in the closed position and in the half stop position, this spring here, like this, is sitting higher. It's going to be hard to tell right now, but it'll make sense in a minute. So that's where it's supposed to be. When you're right here, I guarantee that spring is higher than it is right there. So I got to take a little material off of this back edge here. And then the same thing here. So I'll have to take material off this down here part. But first I gotta get this all set up to measure it, because we're gonna get it exact. And I'll show y'all how I do that. It's gonna be kind of hard to film this. I said hi, Navy Vet, right? I think I did. I hope I did. You can buy a jig that does all this for you. He sets it up real nice. They're not cheap, and I don't have one. What's up, Paul? It's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. They did you dirty over at that other place, man. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying. This does take a minute to set up. Maybe if I get a piece of tape, it'll help. I'm not gonna get it all the way perfect yet, because I do want to get, like, the spring is just loose now, and I am gonna want spring tension on it before I do the final. But I want to get it close, so when I do put tension on the spring, I'm not over stressing it. Okay, I want to make sure it's touching the spring and only the spring. I don't want anything dragging on it. Okay. It's going to be hard for you guys to see what I'm doing and for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, so this tape's holding it. Okay, so that's closed. It's not very rigid either, so it moves a lot. All right, so I got it set on 0, closed. And then when we open it, see it's, so I need to take that much off to get it back down to 0 there. It's not a perfect setup, so it doesn't, we're back at 0 again. Check it a couple times. This bushing wants to come out, that's why I'm always pushing it back in to make sure it's... All right, so we're gonna take this off of here. And just take a little bit off of here, and then I'm gonna put it back on, a little bit more, put it back on. What's up, Cliff? Anarchy. And keep doing that until we hit 0 here, and then real close to 0 here. I'm gonna leave it a little long here, but closer. And then we'll do this third closed position. Probably, I think I'm gonna start with a 120 belt, and then, oh, there's another thing I wanna show y'all I wanna do real quick. I'm gonna start with a 120 and finish with like a 240 probably. In this position right here, I also, it looks real nice and flat here, but it's not. It's actually crowned in the center just a little bit, and I want to kind of dish it down in the center a little, because when the spring sits on here, it doesn't hold it real good. You see it kind of rocks because the spring is just touching just the center, and I want it to kind of have 2 points of contact. So I want to kind of dish out the center just a tiny bit. You probably won't even be able to notice, but it should not rock back and forth like that. It should be solid. So like right here, you can see it's not like that there. Anyway, so piece of sandpaper. I can't see. A little piece of sandpaper right here. So every time I go to that grinder, I'm gonna just give it a swipe or two to get the little burr off of there, because that'll fuck with my measurement. Okay, so I didn't really take nothing off. I need to re-zero it. This thing, again, it ain't perfect. It all moves around and stuff. I do want to make a jig to do this better, but this is what I got right now. Alright, so y'all get the idea. You know what I'm doing when I jump over to the sander. So you can see we got like almost halfway there on that one. I kind of gave it one little good push on the sander. I mean, you have to be on these slip joints. I mean, I guess you don't have to be, but I'll show y'all what I'm doing. So this is the one I just finished, right? That's the one I'm keeping for myself. And you see when it's closed, that spring is flush there with the back. When I go to open it, you'll see the spring lift up. And then at the half stop, it's flush with the back again. And then it lifts up again. And then when it's all the way open, it's flush with the back again. That's what this is doing right here. And again, I'm not going to get it perfect right now. I'm going to get it, you can see how much this all moves around. I'm going to get it just a tiny bit long, so that when I do put a pin in this, it looks like there's a pin there. There's no pin in that hole. This pin is not in anything. And I put tension on this, it won't have to flex more than it needs to, so I won't stress my spring. So I'm just trying to get it close right now. See, that says I'm way closer than I thought I was. And it's hard because I'm just holding tension on it with my fingers, so I can change just how much I push. I can change it. But yeah, we got very little to take off, so I'm going to switch to a 240 belt. Because I don't want to take off as much. and that's what the finish I want it to finish as. And like I said, I still want to leave it just a little bit long. Okay. All right, so you can see I'm really close now. It's still just a little bit long, but that's, well, I'll probably touch it on the grinder one more time. But that's pretty good. I want to get tension on the spring before I do the final, so it's more consistent readings. But that's really close. Then we'll go to this closed position, which you can see I gotta take a lot off of that one. So double check, make sure nothing's rubbing on anything and messing up. Nope. Alright, I'm gonna do just a little more on here, and we'll do that closed position. I'm measuring Robo Driller. So this is gonna be a pocket knife like this. All right, that's what I'm making here. This is the spring, that's gonna be the blade. And if you see, when the knife is open, the spring is flush. When you go to close it, you can see the spring lifts up, and then when you get to the half stop, it's flush again. And then when you go all the way closed, it lifts up, springs it closed, and then it's flush. And that is what I'm measuring here. So, see right there is open. That's where I'm starting my measurement at. I got that all dialed in. And you go to the half stop. You can see I'm a tiny bit long on the half stop. That's how I want it right now, until I do my final, dial it all in once I get actual tension on this spring instead of just me holding it with my thumb. And then now I'm going to do this closed position, which you can see I got to take a lot off of. I got to bring that all the way around. I think it's only, yeah, you can see when I do put tension on this, I don't want to overstress the spring, so I don't want it to have to stretch that far. So I want to get it close, and then I'll tension the spring and dial it in all the way, and then I'll make my liners and put bolsters on them and do all the other stuff. So that's what I'm working on here. So now we'll go back to the 120 belt because there's a lot of material to take off here. You got to be careful here because it really only touches right there and back here. So it's kind of easy to get too much taken off. This little nub right here is kind of important because it actually hits the spring and then keeps the blade from smacking into your back spring when you close your knife, you know. So that little nub there is kind of important. I purchased a 1 micron indicator calibrated with my bank account. It's accurate. Right on. Yeah, they can get expensive. This is, I want to say it's a Harbor Freight unit, but I'm not sure. I might have actually got it from somewhere else, but it's definitely cheap. I think I got it from littlemachineshop.com, but yeah, it's cheap. It's a cheap setup. But it's, you know, accurate enough for a pocket knife. I know you're telling a joke. I get it. Alright, anyway, we're going to start on this bottom part here. Yeah, you want to come over and do that on my mill? I've never done it. I just wing it. Yeah, Yeah, Brian was asking me earlier how long I spent on that other knife, and I don't even know. It was hours. At least 20 hours. And honestly, it was probably more like 30. I probably spent 20 hours on it in 2 days because I was working on it like all day for a minute there. Okay, so I took hardly anything off. I want to sneak up on it because you're like, oh, it's nothing's coming off, nothing's coming off. And then you hog it off for a second, and then you went too far, and then I gotta make this one, then I gotta do all of it again, basically. So I also need to watch if I grind this down too much, this tip here will start lowering down like that, and I gotta watch that don't get to where it's hitting into the spring. It should just tuck when it's closed. It should be right like that. It should just tuck right in under that spring, and then the liner will come out and cover the tip, and then come like this. So, but there's still quite a bit that needs to come off. Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially on these. Where's it at? That last one I did. I didn't show this part. It's not that I was hiding anything. I don't know. I had to remake liners for the last one. I got the old ones here somewhere. Yeah, stuff like that. Here they are. Like when I melted the liner, trying to mill it, and I had to redo it. You know. Rob, I'm not sure, or Robo. It doesn't have to be, no, but for the quality of the knife. So what I'm measuring is, you see that's the spring. So this right here is that part. When you open the knife, you see how that spring is flush across here. When you open the knife, when you get to that middle half stop, the spring needs to be flush. This is what makes it a nice knife that you could tell someone worked on. It doesn't have to be. It'll still function if it's not. And then when you open the knife all the way, the spring is flush. That's actually where I start, so that's the easiest one to get flush. And that's what I'm measuring. So, does it have to be? No, it's not gonna like make it not work or anything, but it's it shows you that someone actually paid attention when they were building it. What happens is that your knife will be open, and this spring will be sticking up above the liners or down below them, or which again isn't going to make it not work, but Amir, thanks for coming in. Y'all can't see the measurement. So we took a little bit off. We were at 70, now we're at 60. This is still looking good here. More. Still needs a lot more taken off. I also want to make sure it doesn't get too hot because this is already heat treated. We're down to 50. Yeah, that's water in there. You'll see me. As soon as it feels any bit warm on my fingers, I'm dipping it. Because it is already heat treated. That's why I don't wear gloves, especially when I'm grinding after heat treat. Because once my hand gets hot, you need to dump it or dunk it. And you notice I keep my finger right next to where I'm grinding, so I'll feel it when it gets hot. My daily is OTF. I'd like to make a knife someday on the CNC. What steel is that blade? This one is 1084. Normally I make folders out of 1095, but I got a smoking deal on 1084, so this is what I'm using right now. A lot of people are getting into more machining on the making the knives, that's for sure. Alright, we're at 40 thousandths now. So we've almost cut it in half. We were at 70. I feel like the tip, if anything, the tip is actually going, I'm trying to make it so y'all can see, the tip is actually coming down. I want the tip to go up a little bit now, so I'm going to try to take a little more off of there to get it to go down. You don't want a pocket knife with the tip sticking out of the knife when you close it. I have one OTF. I have a Benchmade Infidel. It's alright. My daily I always carried was a CRKT that I bought on the Snap-on truck 25 years ago. And my new daily is that one I keep showing y'all. This one I just finished. I made sure I made one for myself because all my folders are gone except for the first one I ever made, which is ugly, and I tend not to show anyone that one. And then one that I messed up on the blade on. So those are the only two I got. This one here, I made sure I made one that wasn't a mistake and kept it. So you can tell that, I don't know if you can see, but that tip, I pretty much only grind it on that little nub. I call it the kick, and you can see it. Took a little bit off the indicator, but it really dropped that tip down into the knife. And just keep whittling away at it. You know, I've never sharpened it. I don't really ever carry it. Um, I get it out every once in a while. I flick it in and out a couple times, and then I put it away. I don't even know where it is, honestly. I think it's inside somewhere, but never sharpened it. I don't really use it. It's cool. My buddy gave it to me, so I wasn't gonna say no. I do like it, but it's not. I don't know. It's a much bigger knife than I feel like you need for EDC. First of all, like heavy. You have the mini infidel. All right. See, now that sounds cool. That sounds like closer to the. Because the one I have, it's it's a big knife for opening Amazon boxes. It's better. I don't know if you noticed that last time when I swung it around closed, it didn't want to snap a whole lot. I had rounded this corner out too much. I got to kind of keep that a little sharper. And you can tell, again, I know it's hard, my hand's in the way. whenever I grind more, because it's only touching here and back here. Whenever I grind more back here, this part hits the spring sooner and it starts kicking that tip down too much. See, it's doing it again. So I need to take more off of this spot a little bit. Keep that tip up in the knife. I guess I bored everybody. Bored everyone. Y'all went to sleep. Moved on. What's up, Anarchy? I also haven't made a whole lot of these, so I'm pretty slow at it. I take my time. It's, you try to get in a rush, you can just be quick to mess it up. So you see me double, triple checking everything every time. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, see, that one I just finished, the folder I just finished, before I put it together, I was supposed to take each piece, put it on a piece of paper, and trace it out so I could have me a dang pattern. Because that's the thing, once you get this all dialed in and get it working, if you traced that and made your pattern, you got a real good starting point. And I get so excited and so into it, and I'm so ready to be done. Every time I almost get one of these done, I forget to do that. I need to do that on this one. You make a pattern of your blade, your spring, a pattern of your liners, which I haven't made yet. They'll look something like this. They're going to be brass. And then I'll have somewhere to start from, but I keep forgetting to do that. I got patterns of my fixed blades. I got a bunch of fixed blade patterns I do. But alright, we're still sneaking up on it. Another thing I know some people do with folding knives, slip joints, lockbacks, whatever, is they'll buy cheap ones and take them apart and use them as a pattern. One day I'll show how I make a pattern, but it's still there's a lot of dialing it in once you get it. Yeah. Every one of these slip joints I make, they all kind of look almost similar when I get done, but they are all a little bit different. Alright, you can see we're really getting close now. We were all the way up to 70. We're taking 60 thousandths off. Once I get to, you can see I still got to do bevels, and I'm going to do liners before I do the bevels, and then I'll have to, this will be the bolster material, nickel silver. I'll have to do that. I got to find, I'm added nickel silver, 1/8 inch nickel silver. I need to find a piece about that long. I got these 2 pins. I need a third one. If I can't find one, I might do a copper pin in the bolster. It'll be like an accent. I don't know. I don't know if I like that idea, but yeah, I've got one knife I make that I actually sell quite a few of that I made off of a pattern from another knife that I had that was a cheap knife. It's pretty cool looking. And people like it. Every time I make one, they sell. I need to make some more, but I think I'm about to switch to a 240 belt just so I'm getting close. And just to slow me down so I can't, yeah, I'm getting real close just so I can't mess it up. I'm almost close enough to start trying to figure out where to drill this third hole here to get the tension on the spring. See, my tip is dropping down too much again. I know it might seem like overkill, but do it nice or do it twice. Yeah, yeah. The long finger. Yeah, those are cool knives. I kind of want to make one like that, honestly. I gotta clean up in here so bad I can't even roll my chair around without bumping into shit. These finer grit belts don't track very good. And they heat up a lot faster too. Okay, so that's where I want them all to end up. Right there on that 0. Just a tiny bit over. This is where I want it to be right now. And just a tiny bit over. So that's where I'm going to stop on this part for right now. I will come back to this jig here. I'm going to make a new jig to do this out of aluminum. I'm going to try to hook the dial indicator to the jig, because right now I got a ghetto rig. You'll see I got this board here. It's a piece of flooring clamped in this vise, and then I got that magnetic base on the vise holding the dial indicator. Not the best setup. Everything kind of moves around a little bit, but I got some aluminum coming for my rotary table on my mill for another jig I need to make. I had used the G10, but the G10 isn't holding up when I'm milling out. That's what actually happened to this liner that I ruined. When I was milling out the liner, the G10 started melting, and yeah, it's supposed to be flat. So I'm making one out of aluminum so it won't melt. I've been at this for an hour and 12 minutes already, just on this one step. All right, the problem here is, here, let me move this. So I got a hole right there. I do not think is where I actually want it. So I might have to drill a new hole for this one. Kind of tip it at like a different angle or something. Because I don't think that one's going to work, but we'll try. Pretty sure this spring is too strong. I sure hope it's too strong, actually, right now. And what I'm going to end up having to do is take some material out from in front of this hole. And then I got this black on here to know I don't want to take any material off and where the black is. But I think right through here I'll probably have to take some material off to make it a little springier. But let's see what we got here. Yeah, see, it's really strong. You can kind of get the idea how it's all going to work now. When I go to finish this, I'm going to try to take most of my material off of just that spot, because I do want this to come down just a little bit more. I guess it turned out that hole is kind of in the right spot. And the wind is blowing leaves off and they're hitting the building. Sounds like hail. Anyway, what time is it? It's almost 2 in the morning. That is most likely going to be too much. I'm not going to mess with it right now. But most likely I'm going to have to relieve some there just to make this spring quite not so strong. It's a nail breaker right now. Some oil. I tried to put a drop of oil on it and I poured it on there. Yeah, I think it's got a little too much snap, but that's okay, because you can remove snap, but it's hard to add it. Just put a little oil on there to make it kind of slide a little better. So other things I've done is I've sanded my spring down in the width wise. My spring is just 1 or 2 thousandths wider than my blade. That'll give my blade just the tiniest bit of room to rotate without rubbing on the liners too hard. And then this bushing here, it's still too wide. But the bushing will also get 2, maybe even 3 thousandths wider than the blade. And then when I pin that center pin, the pivot pin, into the bolster, I can really hammer on it good, because it's actually pushing on the bushing, not the blade. And it will still spin, and you can really hammer the crap out of that pin and make it disappear into that nickel silver. This one I just did, I actually didn't paint it hard enough. You can still just barely see the pin on this one. This side's even worse. If I'd have hammered the crap out of it just a little more, you would not see it at all. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot going on YouTube tonight, was there? I think I'm almost done for the night, but I don't know where. Not sure where I'm going next. I think next I will finish. I'll take a little bit more. I'm gonna get this all dialed in all the way, I think is what I'm gonna do next. And then I'll make the liners and put it all together. That's the other thing about these knives, split joints, is I bet I put each knife together 50 times before I do it the last time. But I'll probably make liners next, and then I'm gonna have to wait for that piece of aluminum to get here so I can mill them. So I mill a little relief. I'll show you these ones even though I fucked them up. I mill a little relief in there. So my bushing sits on this spot that's still flat. But your blade, because from this is all going to be bevel. But the part that's not, the flat part, when it swings around, it'll come in here into that little reliefed area. So it doesn't actually rub. You only rub on the liners right here. You can see this one that I just did. I didn't mill the liners because after I had this problem and I had to order some aluminum, I didn't. So you can see where it spins around and it does hit the liners. It kind of scratches it up a little. It's all right. This is mine. It's a user. I'm gonna like dig in the garden with it and stuff. So, but yeah. So when you swing this around, it actually does rub on them just a little. This one won't do that. Moshik. I probably butchered that. Thanks for coming in. I'm just about done with this. Don't forget to make a pattern. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Once I have the blade all done and the spring all done, it doesn't even need bevel. Just once I have it done like this, and I get my liners done, I need to make the pattern once I know that it works from that point. And really, the most important part of this knife is right here. It's these three sides and your spring. All this little section right here is the most important part. All this, the shape of this, the shape of your blade, all that, you could change all that. If you just have this one section here figured out, the shape of the blade and everything else can all be changed. That one area there is what's the most important. So, and I got the pattern that I started with on this here somewhere. On this nice clean workbench. I don't know where it is. Yeah. Here's what I started with. I kind of made it just like this. I used a little thumbtack on another piece of cardboard and used little thumbtacks to hook it down, and you can fold it all around and see how it's going to work. We're kind of looking like that. It's a little bigger, but and then I even got a little pattern for the liner. They always end up changing a little bit from what the pattern is anyway for some reason. So, but yes, I do need to make a pattern of one that I know works. It doesn't really change having to do all this, but it might speed it up a little. So. I don't know if you saw this one, Anarchy. This is the last fixed blade I did. I'll show it before I finish here. This is the last fixed blade I did. I'm loving this crosscut micarta. I think this one here is getting bone. It's right here. But I think the next slip joint I make, I'm going to do micarta and nickel silver. But there's the sheath. It's got a leather strap. It's like a Warncliffe style. This is one I just finished the leather strap today, so I guess I just finished it, but the knife's been done for a minute. I'll go take pictures of that one and put it up on the Etsy here tonight probably. Why people always want to show up right when I'm getting ready to quit? Start getting more people. Anyway, there it is. This is where I'm stopping for the night. Probably take it inside with me and play with it all night, fold it back and forth. But that's a good stopping place. It's a kind of a pain now because every time I want to take it apart, I have to get the pliers and push on the spring a little bit. You can't just take it apart like I was earlier. Get it all dialed in and get the liners going. Nobody's got no questions, no chats. I'll just make the time come down. I don't quite understand that one. Jonas. Thanks for coming in. Y'all should hit that subscribe. Let me check. Let me see if I gained any subs. I'm like 30 away from 2,000. And I'm doing a knife giveaway at 2,000. I'm not. If this knife is done, I'm not giving this one away. It's going to be a fixed blade. Winner's choice. So just go to my Etsy and pick whichever fixed blade they want. These are too much work. I'm not going to give it away. I don't think this one will be done by the time it happens, but how you doing? I'm doing good. Yourself? Yeah, I'm real close. It doesn't tell me exactly, but I'm at 1,970 something. So less than 30 more subs, and I'm gonna be doing that giveaway. So you will never find it if you're not subbed, because it won't. I'm not doing it in this vertical world, because I'm gonna do it in the horizontal stream where I can use the computer and StreamYard, because I want to use the StreamYard giveaway tool to do it. It's just random. You got to be there. There'll be a word, hashtag knife or something. I don't know what the word will be. You'll have to type the word into chat, and then you get a chance to win. The last one I did at 1,000, there was only like 10 people in the live stream. So there was, it was a 1 in 10 chance to win. And, someone won a free knife. So someone that's around quite a bit, actually. But yeah, I'm digging it. It's going to work pretty good. That spring might even be real close. Yes. The pattern saves a lot of time. I made this so oversized. I've been whittling away at it, and yes, the pattern definitely helps you for sure at the beginning. So well, Jonas, I'm ending the stream. You caught us right at the end. Hit that subscribe. I'll be back. I've been trying to go during the day more, but that's just not been happening lately. Kind of on vampire schedule. I'm about done with this last smoke, so I'm going to end it when that's done. I'm going in. Hope everyone has a good night. Good day, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Yeah, so this is a knife. This is a knife that I'm making. I'll show you the one I just finished. It'll look somewhat like this when it's done. This is one I just finished. And it's, there's a lot left to go on here, but it'll come out something like this, and it's just a slip joint. It's not a lockback. You gotta kind of pay attention when you're using it. And yeah, it'll be something like this. So it started out as, that's the handles. So this is that's just blue marker. That's the nickel silver. Those are nickel silver pins. It's got a little bushing in it. And then, where's my piece of brass? And that's what the liners will be made out of. So they'll look something like this. You take this liner and you solder your little piece of nickel silver onto it. That's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to live streaming that part. The soldering the bolster onto the brass. That part's kind of cool. But yeah, we're coming along here. We got it heat treated. We got it mostly all finished in this area here. So once I make liners and Well, it's kind of the cosmetic stuff once I got it all working and fit together. Right on, Anarchy. Yeah. I don't ever know. Sometimes you're awake. You're waking up at this time, so I don't know if you're awake or if it's bedtime or it's not bedtime for me either. I'm gonna go inside and hang out. Like I said, I'm gonna take this little piece of wood in with me, and I'll probably sit there and stare at it for an hour, think about things, uh, eat, maybe have a drink of whiskey, do all the things. Time for a safety meeting, all that good stuff. Take dogs out. It's still like daytime for me. Wah wah. I have no idea what that says, man, but thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I go live just a couple more times. We'll be doing that giveaway, so it'll be fun. I wish I had. Next time I go live, I'll bring my box of knives out here and I'll show those off. Um, before I go, my shameless plug. Click my picture on the top left, takes you to my YouTube page, and right on my YouTube page is my Etsy link. So if you want to see what I got for sale, go there. Even if you're not trying to buy something, you just want to look, go there. That'd be great because Etsy's like YouTube, and the more people go look at that link, the more they're going to push it out for people to look at it. So, and that's my shameful plug. So, y'all have a good night. I will catch you maybe tomorrow. If I stream tomorrow, it'll be daytime. If not, probably Thursday. So, take it easy, folks.